Barrett, I hope you're doing well. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
I'm doing great. Just on day two, actually day three of celebrating the NL East championship. So yeah, I'm living large right now.
All right, so I want to know when they clinched it, what did you do? What was your reaction?
It was during college football Saturday, and I was working, and I was writing about the Alabama-Texas A&M game, and for about an hour, first I grabbed a couple bottles of cheap champagne, sprayed them all over my backyard, including myself and my kids and my wife. I just watched.
Is there a video of this?
Yeah, there is a video.
Okay.
At least part of it anyway.
Okay.
Then I might have had a few sips of the remainder of the spray and champagne during a work day.
Okay.
Then I did not watch. I had the A&M Alabama game on in the background, but I pretty much watched every celebration video online that I possibly could have. So luckily I was not in charge of writing the recap of Texas A&M Alabama because I kind of stopped watching at halftime. Really, and that was kind of the time to stop watching anyway.
All right, so let's go back here. Your thoughts on Alabama and Texas A&M? It was a big win, but Nick Saban calling the dogs off of his friend Jimbo Fisher is the way that I analyzed it. How'd you see it?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it went. First time they didn't cover all year. I think that's the biggest reason why. So that's what Alabama can do. And I was thinking about this during the first half, and really, I guess, when Alabama scored right before halftime. If you're an opposing defensive coordinator looking at Alabama tape right now, don't you want them to run? Don't you want them to run the football? Which is crazy to think about considering what Alabama is known for. But, I mean, you don't want Tua to throw the ball at this point. So, it's crazy how dynamic that team is now. And I think Nick Saban has sort of evolved from – the guy who doesn't want to have rat poison on his team and goes, at least initially, tries to subtly instill messages about his team not buying into the hype to the point where he just now, and he said this this past weekend, flat out says, don't write anything good. Find something bad to say about my team because I think secretly he knows this is his best team of all time, and it's probably not even close.
Well, and as I'm watching football on Saturday and I hear Nick Saban say that, and then I continue watching football, I think Alabama, it's Alabama's world and everybody else is just living in it. Is that fair? Is that a bias comment? Because I watched Georgia and Missouri. I watched all these games throughout, and I think one of the moves that you're seeing over in Clemson, South Carolina, is he knows that he cannot beat Alabama with Kelly Bryant. He's got to get more from his quarterback.
I don't think that that's the case at Clemson. I think he knew that he couldn't win a college football playoff with Kelly Bryant. Same reason why Tua was starting at Alabama. Jalen, can get you to the playoff. Kelly Bryant can get you to the playoff. I think both those guys, Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban, know it's different to win it. So I don't think it has anything to do with Alabama that they make that move. I think that in different ways, Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney tried to sort of orchestrate their quarterback depth charts how they best saw fit. I think at Clemson, Dabo knew all along that Trevor Lawrence was going to be a starting quarterback. And I think anybody that's talked to them, throughout the course of August, they knew that was the case. And what he did was sort of quietly make the quarterback change through the first month of the season without a lot of people knowing about it. So I think Ryan is kind of comfortable now, kind of like Jalen, saying, hey, look, I'll play my role, let's go win a national championship. Whatever that means for me, whatever it is for me, and I want that ring. And so, it's Alabama's world, although I think in college football, you don't make moves with another team in mind. Georgia looked a little shaky by Georgia standards anyway against Missouri, but they don't have to worry about Alabama to the postseason. Ohio State and Clemson don't have to worry about Alabama until the playoffs. So, it's Alabama's world and everybody's living in it, but, I think, teams are perfectly happy with their world knowing that, if they do get a shot at the Tide, they are capable of winning and certainly have the talent and coaching to do that. Not to say it's a probability, but, that they don't know it's a possibility based on the rosters and coaching that they have.
Was Auburn playing down to the competition, or is there major concerns there in Lee County?
Yeah, I'd say there are major you know what? Yeah, there are major concerns. Although I think in the second half they just kind of cruise. I think in the first half they recognized that there are concerns, and then just basically said, all right, let's not mess around. Let's just get through it and move on. They can't block. I mean, they flat out can't block. That offensive line is not good, and I don't know if they've got really a group of running backs that can do what they need to do to take pressure off of Stidham. So yeah, there's concern. I think Auburn, after the first 4 games, any ideas that they were a national championship caliber team, those are long gone. I think they still have the possibility of being, a New Year's Six caliber team if they fix these things. But if they hadn't fixed them now, then they might not be fixable. But again, I honestly don't know if it matters up until Georgia and Alabama. So they conceivably could be a New Year's Six team even if they don't solve these problems.
Let me go to Kentucky here just for a minute. Can we step back and really salute what Stoops has been able to do there? Because I know we were calling for his head a couple of years ago, but they made it through, and it looks like this is a really good football team.
Yeah, look, Mark Stoops is Rich Brooks. Remember, Rich Brooks had them consistently going to bowl games
sure.
in the mid to late 2000s. Like if you can do that at Kentucky, you're a genius, right?
Yeah, lifetime job,
Stoops
lifetime contract, sure.
Yeah, and Mark Stoops has gone 7-5 in each of the last 2 regular seasons, 7-6 overall when you count the bowl. So if he's done that and now he's doing what he's doing this year, that dude can stay there forever if he wants to. So I think at Kentucky, and you saw this kind of at Mississippi State too with Mullen. If you raise the floor of the program and you get a taste of the ceiling, then you kind of want that ceiling even more. And Kentucky hasn't gotten to that point yet. Mississippi State did. But Kentucky's not there yet. But I think what he's done is sort of like what Mullen did at Mississippi State. He's gotten the program to a point where, relevancy is the expectation. And they've had that in each of the last 2 seasons. And maybe if they catch lightning in a bottle, something more happens. They haven't had that part yet. But with this team, when you've got Benny Snell and Terry Wilson, who's really good, and I don't know if you watched the Mississippi State game in full, but, Josh Allen is a friggin' monster. And he's certainly the best Josh Allen football player we have playing in the NFL or college these days. It might be this year. I don't know, where they get the taste of success and they vault up and may not get to the promised land, but at least become relevant on a national scale.
Looking at Kentucky, let's look ahead. You got South Carolina and you got Texas A&M, then you got the open date, Vanderbilt, and then Missouri. For one, do you think they can make it to Georgia undefeated? And if they get there, do you think they could possibly play with the Dogs? Because it's at Kroger Field there in Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't think they can get there undefeated.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll win. I think they can get undefeated. I don't think they can win that game. Do I think it's likely that they get there undefeated? I don't know. South Carolina looked good against Vandy. It's a decent Vandy defense. A&M is what they are. Are what they are, and it's certainly a possibility. Do I think that they have the chance? Yeah. Can they make it interesting for Georgia, no matter what their record is? Sure. But the talent level is just so much different between the 2 programs, and really everybody in the East compared to Georgia. So, would I be surprised at all if that took on the same kind of importance as that triple overtime game they won over LSU in 2007? I wouldn't be surprised if going in it had those kind of ramifications.
This is going to sound strange. This will be the final question for CBS Sports National College Football Analyst Barrett Sallee. Barrett, is Jeremy Pruitt in trouble?
No.
Okay.
I think that he's, first-year coaches ever, like first-time coaches, they have, they've never made these decisions before, so they don't know what to do. And you can sit there in your mind and as a head coach or as an assistant and say, okay, I've got a plan. I know what I'm doing. I had a coach tell me, a really high-profile coach who's had a lot of success now. He once told me that in his first game, he forgot to send the punt team out twice.
Wow.
It's just, you don't make those decisions. Like, you just don't do it. So, I think that's what he's going through right now. The Quattro staff thing was a little bit strange, and apparently that got resolved today. But I just think that he's going through growing pains. He's with a team that was as broken gets. The talent level is decent, but not nearly capable of competing right now. And so when you're that broken and you're that average from a talent perspective, it's not the most desirable place for a first-time head coach to be. And, I think they know that it's going to be a long rebuild. That's why they hired Jeremy Pruitt. If they thought it would be a quick turn, they would have thrown more money at all the guys they offered the job after Schiano Saturday. But I think they understood that they'd take a decent shot at those guys, and if none of them said yes, they'd find somebody that they can build around, and they feel like it's Jeremy Pruitt, and I don't think anything's changed.
But is it not real that they could go 0-8 in the SEC again? I mean, you play the win-loss game with me. Georgia this weekend. That's a
big loss.
Huge disaster. I mean, if Florida can beat them 47-21, do you think they could beat Open? Surely we'll put a W there for that.
They got a good. Bai's got a good defense. Gotten a lot of point all year.
And then we go to Auburn, right?
Oh God, no.
That's ugly. Alabama coming to town. Tua may not even.
Nope.
I mean, Jalen could light up that defense, man.
Yeah, that's a Mac Jones game.
Okay, right. South Carolina. That's an L.
That's an L.
UNC Charlotte.
No, that's a win.
Okay. So
Charlotte's not that good.
So we got them to 3 wins. Kentucky, that's a loss, right?
That's a loss.
Missouri?
Probably a loss.
And then,
I wouldn't be so sure, but probably a loss.
And then at Vanderbilt. I mean, can we really be talking about Tennessee back-to-back years of 0-8? I mean,
you know what? They're going to get either Missouri or Vandy.
Okay.
One of the two. They'll get one of those two.
Okay. All right. Barrett, thank you, man. I hope you have a great week.
All right. See you guys.